Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Roblox World War II Community Podcast. I'll be your host for this evening, Chillin589, and today's guest we have KristofGadsden. Would you like to say hello?
Hello.
Now, before we get into the podcast, I'd like to give an explanation of what we do here. Basically, we interview leaders, officers, developers, etc. on their opinions, viewpoints, perspective overall of the community. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the questions. So, Kristof, as per usual, when did you join Roblox, and how did you get involved in the World War II community?
Oh, that's a good question. I originally joined Roblox quite some time ago, around 2015. When I joined Roblox, I was just, common person joining Roblox. I really wasn't into anything. I was just there to see what the game was about. And then eventually around 2016, 17, I started getting into the World War II era, and I did that by following some German World War I groups, which I was originally interested in. So I joined Deutsches here, which was one of them. It was the first World War I group I joined. And it was with, I believe, Joe, if that's what his name is still today, him Kaiser Wilhelm II. And I climbed the ranks through there and became one of his close mates. And since then, we've been just doing I've been just really floating around during the World War I community. And then from there, I was introduced into Lewis's group. And once I got really into Lewis's groups, how it started was his men kind of came in and tried to recruit us. I was kind of interested because it seemed like a really cool group, although I did not know, the background. So when I kind of joined his group, I was interested in, the whole like reenactment. It wasn't based on real German groups, but it had the aesthetic behind it. And so then once I really joined up in his group, I got tied in the IPNA, which was the International Party of the New Awakening. And then I got kind of close to his high command, including Clinton and everyone really knows the past users, like obviously Lewis, Clinton, pretty sure one of them was, I don't remember the other name, but it was pretty close. I was a national leader, and I did do a lot of work in their groups, and eventually I developed for their groups as well.
So you're a part-time officer, part-time developer.
Oh yeah. I developed a lot. I actually added a lot of German aesthetic during that era, tools and stuff that they were quite interested in, and they kind of used them, and then they eventually found that I had capabilities, and they kind of chose to pick me and allow me to dev for them. And when I started deving for them, it was kind of interesting because a lot of the maps that they made were pretty unique, and that's what kind of drew my interest into their groups.
Is there any other way you could define beyond unique? Is there like any specific layout that kind of intrigued you with their maps?
During that time, it was actually really the historic. I know they were not very historically accurate when it came to their group names and such like that, but they had
You don't say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it still interested in me, and in fact, when I started deving, I kind of tried to put more historical accuracy in there, and eventually everything, they kept getting content deleted and everything like that, and so like I was just like, why are you guys getting content deleted? And then I found out they were putting National Socialist logos in their group icons, but
ooh,
yeah.
In the essence of it's like non-historical maps, you kind of tried to bring some sort of historical connection to it to make it seem more authentic, really?
Well, during that time, their maps were very like, they tried to, because it's Roblox, obviously they wanted to avoid getting content deleted. Obviously that failed, but a lot of the maps had that kind of background. If you go to other German groups, they never really had that aesthetic to them. They never really had the group icons that were made like that. And Lewis made all those group icons, which were pretty good. Ain't gonna lie, I can't lie about that. But like he took a lot of work into them. But other than that, like a lot of World War II groups were never piquing anyone's interest, and that's why Lewis gained such a good following, and he gained my following as well. And that's why I kind of decided to dev for him and everything like that.
So, besides Deutsches here, sorry, were there any other groups that you joined that were notable in the beginning of the community? Like, or was it just that group? You didn't have any other side projects or anything like that?
Well, I did. What happened was Deutsch is Here was the World War One group, and then if you remember, Kaiser A.B. Richter, the guy that runs the cult.
I remember.
Yeah, yeah. Who could forget? He made Deutsch is Here 1940s, and so I decided to join. And then he was looking around trying to start a political system, so he inherited political group. So I decided to make like a little political group that gained a pretty big following. And that's actually, and I really did not like the aesthetic of that group. That group was horrible. I ain't gonna lie. The maps were free. The only thing that was good was my HQ that they allowed me to add in, and which helped gain a huge following. And so a lot of the people started following that little party I had, and it was the biggest in the group. And Kaiser AB was approached by, I believe, Clinton at the time and his deputy chairman to annex, basically merge with Austro-Prussian Empire during that time. And that's when that's when Kaiser AB thought it was a perfect idea. So he decided to merge into their group. And I was like, hey, what about my party? And they're like, hey, you can just join the IPNA. That's where I kind of where I got started in the IPNA was when I joined through my little party. And then Kaiser AB wanted, like, a couple months into that group, he was like sick and tired. He was leader hungry, obviously, or power hungry, I meant. And so he tried to back out and restart his group. And I stayed with the IPNA because I couldn't take DH 1940s anymore. The whole thing of it was basically a huge
this rank you gave me
rather than
in the IPNR, it does not suit my interests.
Yeah, that's literally what it was. Yeah, it literally was that. He was just like, yeah,
when you agree to merge with the group, expect not to get a high rank.
He was a general in their army, one of the generals in their army. So that was a pretty high rank for Austro. And he still was like, yeah, I still want to lead a group. So he tried to back out. And when he did that, I was actually tasked in the IPNA to get his group content.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some covert operations, I see.
It wasn't that hard, dude. They literally had hail salute tools and shit and Nazis related shit in their games. So I literally just typed an email, say, hey, look at this. And it was a picture of me hailing in the game. And like 30 minutes later, the group
instant ban.
Yeah. It was pretty quick. It was like, and then Lewis did a rally, and I was kind of surprised because I wasn't expecting anything. I was just like, yeah, it was the easiest shit I've ever done. And he literally gave me a medal for it, and then probably yeah, I know. The Austro-Prussian Empire. I don't know. It's in my description of my Roblox account, but he gave me the Austro-Prussian, Grand Star or Grand Cross. I mean,
here's a medal for taking them out.
Yeah. I mean, but for when I was that age, I was like, oh yeah, oh perfect, a medal. And so I took it with gratitude, and eventually that Austro-Prussia ended up getting banned as well. A couple months after that, I didn't even receive the medal. He just gave it to me verbally, and I was waiting for the T-shirt, and I never got it because we got content to it.
Well, Lewis, if you're watching, you still owe somebody a medal.
I'm waiting for that medal.
Yeah, dude, just give him the medal, dude.
It's been a couple of years. I'm still waiting.
So you could say the content deleter got content deleted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, literally, you just copy and pasted the IPNA logo, put it in Google Images, and literally it shows up as the Hungarian National Socialist Party. So I mean,
see,
I'm not surprised we were.
What is his idea? Like, his idea is to try and content delete German groups with. You're like, oh, you got the hail thing in there. Oh, I'll get you. And then meanwhile, he has like a literal imagery of National Socialism. Do you not understand that you could get easily banned from this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't like the only people that were aware at that time were their high command. I wasn't aware of it because I wasn't part of their high command yet. But I believe the whole thing was he never really goes out to personally content delete other groups. He has really no care for them. He just
has somebody else do it for him. It's just this group. In a way.
Well, no, it was mainly because they tried to leave the annexation and try to steal the members that were in our groups.
So
So we
more or
were
less,
like,
it's just
oh,
like, hey, you were supposed to stick to our deal. I'm gonna make you do it.
yeah, that was basically the whole tact.
All right, makes more sense in that context. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
But then again, I mean, I don't like Lewis, but I think anybody can prefer him over Kaiser Richter.
I think a lot of people can prefer him over it, and Lewis is going to return soon. He's restarting Bombardus.
Why? He said he left, though. That's whatever. You know what? Let's just get into that later into the questions. How about that?
Yeah, no worries.
Next question here. Who are some people who heavily influenced you in the community, whether it be leaders or friends, etc.?
I really haven't tied a lot of close relationships. Mainly because it's obviously Roblox, and you can't trust really anyone without shit happening. But during that time, I would say I was very fond of Lewis and Clinton, since Clinton was the chairman of the IPNA. Those were like my main during that time.
Right.
Joe was one of them when in the World War I group. He still was when I was in AP. I was still talking with them. I still had communications with him. And I did sometimes return with them to help with them and stuff like that. But then I just, over time, after I was getting too deep with the Austro-Prussia thing, kind of walked away a little bit, but because I was just getting too busy with development and everything like that.
Oh, sorry, fam. I'm just gonna waltz on out of here.
Yeah, exactly. I feel bad thinking about it now, but it was just that there was so much going on, and he was focused on his group. I was trying to dev for them and lead their IPNA at the same time. And then
that's important because you can't have too many projects running at the same time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get jumbled and you won't know what to do.
Oh yeah, and then you won't get anything really done.
Exactly.
And then and then as of now, I'm really close friends with John. Working with the UNAR and some few others. I can't really get them off my head at the moment, but and then I used to be in some good correlation with Lavo, but that ended pretty bad in the Karavec group because I couldn't take the rapid demotions and exiles and shit like that. I got demoted. I don't know for God's what. When I restarted his whole party, got it active and everything, was deving for them too, and he just demoted me, replaced me. So I was like, all right, I'll just stick around for a little bit. And then he kept doing stupid shit, and then he brought Alexander into the picture, and then I eventually just.
Why?
That is a good question. Why? It's kind of the final straw for me. So I decided to leave, and that's what I joined John because I was kind of getting sick of the whole Empire, Imperial, confederations, shit like that, and I was kind of wanting to go more towards the Allies side than I did in the past, because I was for German groups for years.
Yeah, I was about to ask that question here. Why did you per se prefer German and Axis-orientated groups over Allied ones?
Well, it was mainly because of the aesthetic at the time. I really liked I know the history behind it. It was, not so great. Okay, that's obvious.
Putting it lightly.
Yeah, just putting it lightly. I don't want to get too far into detail because I'm pretty sure everyone knows. But it was just the history, the aesthetic to it. I mean, I enjoyed the uniforms, not what they stood for, but I just enjoyed them because if you go to the World War II Allied groups like the U.S. military, they're very bland everywhere.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that.
Yeah,
it's basically like standard fucking shirt and pants, and then you have like the little pockets on there, and that's it, and a belt at most.
The only thing's different is the rank insignias on them, where the German uniforms had different color variants, different uniforms for each, what do you call it, branch and stuff like that. So like the army and all that. And so it was just very, very unique, and it kind of drew me into really wanting to get interested more in German groups until now, obviously, where I swept to the Allies.
So So basically, you're just really interested in the history and etc. behind it.
Well,
I can relate to that a lot. I'm not gonna like bitch on anybody for doing that, because for a time as well, I was also in German groups. I was mainly in Soviet groups, and everybody knows that they're not very known for positive things.
oh yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
Germans aren't either, but it's just the whole historic part of it. That's until I
yeah,
got very close with the innocent related shit. So yeah, just to put that lightly in.
yeah. I mean, it happens when you're just trying to search for Axis related groups and whatnot. You're eventually bound to run into stuff like that.
Well,
Same with
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was about to say like same with fucking Soviet shit. Where if you're in there long enough, you're eventually gonna meet somebody who's like a Stalin, and I did almost immediately.
Oh,
So
jeez.
yeah, but besides all this, what is your view towards Louis Otto while we're talking about the NSN and other various Axis leaders you've been with?
Um, during the time of when he was really at his peak, during the NSN, when I was in the NSN, as at least, it was quite interesting. There was a lot of stuff I just don't want to really disclose and publicly say that was going on, but I would just say that, it was obviously towards white supremacy and such, like, in that kind of
Of
area.
course, yeah,
And I was, thinking about it, because there's a lot of the stuff that I read that he gave me, was kind of true if you would think about it. But at the same time, I was like thinking, I was like, I don't know, there was a double sided, there was two sides to what I was looking at,
right.
and um, on well, if we, at the time, I would say I was following Lewis to the end, basically, until I eventually left the NSN for personal issues and family issues. So I knew I had to stop focusing on something that is going to be years away and focus on the now. That will actually have a really big impact on my personal life as well. So I decided to leave in that way, and I also started kind of floating away from those ideals. And well, nowadays Lewis is not even political anymore. He's he actually is not even he everyone thinks he's still a national socialist, but as of now he's not into politics or anything like that, and neither am
Has he
I.
ever stated that he's like done with Nazism or anything like that?
I haven't been in any group chats or whatever voice calls with him, but he did state publicly with Lavo and a bunch of other people that he's no longer political. I wasn't there to hear it myself, but it was just what I've been hearing. And what kind of happened was I was Lewis, when he came back to Roblox to help Lavo, fix his aesthetic. Because when I made those group icons for Lavo, I was just like, I didn't know the fuck I was doing, really.
Yeah,
So Lewis was gonna help him fix it, and Lavo ended up exiling Lewis because he told Lavo to make a group that was more aesthetic, had a better group name and everything instead of Imperial Confederation of the Rhine. And so Lewis contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking of starting my own group, and I need someone to have a senior position." And so he specifically was talking to me. So I immediately was like, I don't know. I don't want to group hop because that's like I don't want to be known as a group hopper because that's when I joined John. I was really dedicated in helping John out. And
trust me, abandoning ship is not group hopping. Group hopping is straight up what fucking Thanos does, where
well,
he just jumps around and shit to various different groups.
yeah, but I was already dedicated to help John out. I just recently joined him as a colonel and I was going to help him reform everything. And then Lewis approached me. So I told him, I was like, I don't know. I think UNR would be the best bet for me because I'm already dedicated my time. And then he ended up just saying stuff like, you know what, I already decided you're not going to be joining. So we kind of ended up on a bad note and he
I've
actually,
already decided that you're not going to join, even though before we just said that you're not going to join, you said that you're not interested.
yeah, I know. He basically decided for me. What I told him was, I was like, UNR really isn't it's not like a USM where we're going to be hunting you. It's not like I'm doing a bad thing, you know. I just said I'm just going to be helping John, and then in the future, when you know when you kickstart your group, um, even you and AR could help assist you, you know, in being allies, because we know that not John, but Lewis is no longer political, and he's just doing it for the historic accuracy nowadays. Well, not historic, but you know, trying to bring back the past that he once had. And so, but then he said that kind of stuff since is not even true, and I'm gonna and just make sure to double check what you say before you say something stupid. And I said, well, I stand firm on my decision, and he ended up unadding me. I haven't talked to him since, but I still think Luce is not political anymore, from what I've heard. So,
Well, at that point, it's not really about being political or not. It's more or less just you wanted to help John, regardless of whether it was being political or not, really.
oh yeah, well, I mean, I just threw that in there because that's what the basis of the topic started off of. But yeah, it was mainly because I wanted to continue working with John and helping his group out. And Luce thought that was like because of like a threat, like I'm abandoning him, because we used to be, you know, in close ties back in the NSN and then all the old groups.
This is how he views people who don't really accept his offer. If you're not going to be with him, more or less you're against him in a way.
Yeah, well,
because he's offered to me multiple times to help him do stuff with Bombardos, and I said no. I even offered to do a Soviet group with me, as well as some other vets from RCCP, and initially we said yes, but then we backed out on it. And then immediately he's like, oh my gosh, you're enemies. You guys are irrational, unreasonable. Like, we shouldn't be talking with each other.
Yeah.
It's basically my consensus.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, he did, you know, he did like in the past do that to other people who turned down his deals. I remember that, but I thought for a second he would have a different opinion, you know, when he was talking to someone like myself who was very close with him and also led the second Frankish realm for him and stuff like that. But I guess that didn't change his point of view.
It more or less applies to everybody, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Because there's obviously been more people who, before you, had offers like that, who are closer to him, and then he just straight up excommunicated them or whatever, etc. But moving on to the next question. How do you think other notable figures of the community view you and your reputation in the community?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. You know, I would say a lot of people, like, I mean, I don't really want to get the names out, but I know some people who extremely dislike me, mainly because of just some of the stuff that I've said or made a meme out of. But other than that, I mean, I feel like in some views that I'm not. Some people I think, you know, are being told false rumors about myself that aren't true. I mean, people think like as me as like still a neo-Nazi, which isn't really true anymore. I've really developed more of a capitalistic view than I have a National Socialist view on everything. And a lot of people, you know, it's kind of a hard question to answer because I'm not them. You know what I mean? It's like it's really a hard question.
Well, again, it's just how do you think?
Oh, right.
I mean, obviously, you can't always tell what other people are thinking about you.
Yeah.
I mean, I could name off a bunch of names of people who I know, but I don't know what the fuck they know about me or like think about me and what I've done. So,
yeah,
more or less your opinion on their views, really.
Oh, well, mainly I think people depict others, such as myself, as being someone that's worse than they really are. I'm not a really mean person, as many may think I am. Although, if you know, end up doing something that's fucking unreasonably, you know, wrong or unmoral, I might have some backlash. I might give backlash about it, about the situation, and that might cause the issue. But I mean, I'm not really of a mean person if you get to know me, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand, and that's what a lot of people don't, really dig deeper about, because a lot of people just believe what other people tell them, and then, that just creates rumors and lies and that aren't true. So
Well, that's standard in this community.
it is.
You really have to know the person to understand who they are.
It really fucking is. I ain't gonna lie.
But besides your viewpoint on how others view you, I know that just sounded confusing, but what is your relationship and opinions with other notable figures in the community, or like groups, like IRF or like RM 1940s, etc.?
IRF is a pretty confusing one for myself. I can't really forget what they did to just this teenager and who just served me in the Second Frankish realm. I know that many would say, "Oh, it's not their fault that he was so gullible," but it was still their fault for even attempting to do what they did. Well, they did. They did attempt successfully of what they did, and I still can't forgive them for that. And
Was this the whole catfishing incident?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that morally, I don't even think that was right. I mean, I wouldn't even go to that extent of trying to do something to someone on a Roblox, and they decided to keep it out of Roblox, which is kind of funny because a lot of them say we try to keep it on Roblox and only Roblox, but then they go out and try to catfish people, and it's.
I mean, an argument that Nick Model made during the podcast we had with him was if somebody's going to bring something outside of Roblox, then you have the obligation to do it too. In a sense, I can understand that, but when you're just catfishing for catfishing's sake just to fuck with somebody, and then leak their information of what they do in private, kind of a bit fucked, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean,
especially when, as far as I know with this argument, you guys didn't do anything to even provoke them at all. They just decided to do it just to fuck with you.
Yeah, it was mainly because, oh, look, it's another Lewis's groups that he's making. Why not, try to cripple him by doing this? I honestly, when I was running the SF4, I was really not even focusing on other groups and any other groups except mine. I was focusing on the internal problems that we had and not the problems outside. And I wasn't even making any calls or judgments or anything really to provoke IRF or any other groups, but they just did it they want to get rid of us technically and try to cripple us from within. So, and I even have a picture of the account that freaking Voss tried to use to catfish, and it was they literally said hi, and I'm like, who are you? And then she was like, or whatever, he basically, I was like, just some randomer playing Roblox. I'm like, okay, bye, because I don't trust anyone on Roblox. And
just a random player on Roblox with winky face.
Yeah,
okay, bye.
Yeah, I've known this for years, not to trust anyone, especially women. I mean, there are legit women on this game, but then there's going to be, the catfish.
Yeah, I've seen very few actual women on this website. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, freaking Zombie Patrol got catfished really badly.
Oh, God.
In RCCP. It was the funniest shit when we found out, but of course he was pissed because it was some German girl or whatever. It wasn't part of Lewis's groups, but it was a part of somebody else's German group that they did it for. And obviously that shit isn't really allowed. And not only that, it's kind of fucked up. Goes without saying.
Yeah, I know. And
catfishing random people on the internet. Real smooth, guys.
I know. Yeah, really. Yeah, that's crazy. It's really just, I don't even like talking about this subject because I find it just really disturbing and disgusting that they got to put it to that extent. But not just
I'm fine talking about it because I've heard terrible Look, if you've been in this community long enough, that is one of the worst, or like least worst things that we've seen so far. And I guarantee you it's bound to get worse.
Is catfishing's the least?
Yeah, there's been doxing and shit going on. There's been releasing of IP addresses and freaking swatting people. Even Vass was talking about how he got called, or like his work kept getting called, and it was a bunch of German guys on the internet trying to, get him fired at his job by spreading false rumors and shit. Even Nerfer got Eric's phone number back when Panzer was live, and he just started trying to, harass him
Wow.
during personal life. It was bullshit. Like, why does this have to happen? You guys are being dicks for dick's sake.
I know, and it's the craziest thing is like, imagine taking it to the police, like, yeah, I just got catfished on Roblox, and like, the fuck's wrong?
Yeah, exactly. That makes it worse. Like,
That's probably
dude, I got catfished. I need you to arrest this person for like releasing personal information. I'm like, all right, what? How did you exchange this information? Roblox.
Wait a minute, isn't that the kid that my 6-year-old played? Isn't that the game?
It's like, are you talking to people on there that you shouldn't be talking? Like, they arrest him because they think,
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second,
Doesn't
you'd
add
be a
up.
predator on the internet.
Yeah, it's just crazy, really. I mean, I wish I'm waiting. I doubt it'll ever happen though. That this shit will stop, but I know it's never gonna happen. It's
Oh
just gonna
no,
be that
it's never gonna
headache.
stop.
It's just gonna be that
It is
permanent.
never gonna stop.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's just the state of affairs with this community. Until we could get like every leader to just sit down in a private call and be like, "Hey, let's not do this." It's never gonna stop, and even then, I doubt that would do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think Voss even blocked me, so I was just like, I tried to message him once. I was like, "Hey, man, let's relax for a little bit. Let's just relax." And then it just showed that I couldn't talk with him because I was blocked. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well,
I remember when I had to first block Lewis on Discord because of the same fucking issues where we had an argument and then it just kept getting worse from there. So I said, fuck it, I'll just block him. And it proceeded to only get worse after that, where I had people then continue to try and talk to me for Lewis afterwards. Like, I don't know if you guys are actually talking for Lewis. Just stop fucking talking to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to him anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember him doing that too. If he gets blocked by someone, he would send him.
Yeah, send a personal envoy. I'm like, this is a message from Lewis Otto. Oh.
This is classified information from the Emperor.
Yeah, classified, and it's just like, let me finish the argument, bitch, and then seriously, Lewis. I'm pretty sure almost every leader fucking does that nowadays when they get blocked.
Yeah, I mean, once I get blocked, I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm like, okay.
There are very few times where I've gotten blocked, though, which is why I never have to complain about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really. The only person that blocked me so far is Voss, and people who spam me and shit and just tell me about like stuff. I literally just don't block them. I just ignore them because I really just don't care. I'm already too busy.
Yeah. Let them run their little chorus of just complaining and shit, and then they'll just stop talking because they're like, "Oh, you're not responding to me? Oh, it just shows how much of a loser you are." And then like that was like a week ago, and I still haven't said anything back.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens with me. They just stop talking after they had the little.
Yeah, just get your frustration out. But anyways, moving on to the next question. Finally, what is your opinion of groups like the League of Nations and alliance-based groups? More or less like community groups.
League of Nations, isn't that the one that Voss runs?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, although it's basically an alliance with the groups they have interest in, and to, create an alliance, to go who wants to, follow them into doing whatever they want to do, whatever, I don't care. But, even UNAR has an alliance called the Confederation, and it's beneficial if you use it correctly. I mean, but also it just creates more controversy. It also creates more rumors. I don't really think it's productive in any way, except if you're let's just say I'm UNAR, right, and I'm trying to do a raid on some group, like just a regular raid, and I need alliances. Yeah, that's pretty great. But then also it comes in with the shit where they're like, "Hey guys, I'm thinking about catfishing this dude," or something like that. Something that's above and beyond just playing the fucking game and reenacting their group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really, I think, I mean, the League of Nations, I'm not really updated to it with it because I'm too busy with UNAR. All I know really is that it's just Voss running it. And then I did hear, though, he is paying groups 10K to start up their groups if they pass this like verification or whatever, or this.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm in the League of Nations, but that is partially true. Basically, nations can request funding to up to 10K if they need help, but it still has to go through like a voting system.
Oh, okay.
So you can't just be like, "Give me money, please," and you're like 13 members. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, get out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's interesting that Voss is giving away Robux to other groups to let them have a chance, to because a lot, not everyone has money to spend on fucking Roblox. I know that. And so that's kind of cool. I that's a great like not great like god damn it, that's what I was gonna say. It's a great idea, really. That's what I meant to say. I feel like it's beneficial for those groups who want to start up their own thing, although I feel like it's pretty biased in a lot of ways. But I'm not in the League of Nations, so I really can't have any opinion about it. So that's all I have to really say about the League of Nations part.
Any other thoughts on like community-based groups or no?
Community-based, like
Axis and Allies or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was another cool one. I do think Access and Allies is another huge benefit to the community. It allows mass recruitment and such like that, and people to share their ideas and stuff. And that's what I like about Allies and Access is that it's a huge community coming together. But although, I mean, it would be great to see even the people that hated each other the most, eventually come to that conclusion. But I know that's probably never going to happen with what's going on and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people just don't want to take back what they said about other groups and the claims and stuff like that, just to make it seem like, oh, we're on good terms now. And I mean, I'm being honest, everyone's had their own faults, really. Everyone screws up. And I mean, it depends what kind of the mistakes you screwed up on that basically gave you that image. It depends, like, catfishing obviously isn't a fault. It's really you did it on you decided to do it, you know what I mean? But like other than that, I mean, I believe a lot of people deserve second chances. And eventually, hopefully sometime we'll get there, but I never see that coming anytime soon. So
Just more or less, it's just the residue of just spite and hatred left over from years of conflict with each other. Like, Axis and Allies kept having issues with UNAR and IRF, if I'm correct, with both of them being in the group at the same time.
Yeah. We had a feeling, honestly, because why not? We had to make some kind of assumption or guess why we were removed from Allies and Axis and Allies. I think before.
It's Axis and Allies.
Yeah, I sometimes get them both screwed up, but yeah, but we got removed, and then immediately IRF just joined. That kind of like made us question why we got
rubs chin.
Yeah, we were just like, that's a little weird, So we kind of questioned it, and assumptions and accusations were made, obviously. But I can see now that IRF even left Access and Allies because they claimed, I think it was Krevar is like a dictator or something with the whole organization or community. I think.
I'm going to be honest with you here on the podcast. Vass left the group because he didn't want to be a part of it. Like, he just didn't want to do it. He was constantly getting bothered by Krevar in his eyes to keep doing the podcast, or not podcast, sorry, the partnership. And he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's eventually I don't know how he left as of now, but obviously he got his wish. He didn't want to be part of it.
Yeah, and then even after freaking IRF left, Krevar asked if UNAR wanted to join back, and we denied wanting to join back because obviously something weird is going on there. If IRF just left. Oh, let's bring back UNAR. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of
Favoritism.
yeah, I know. That's I kind of see why he kind of said it was a dictatorship, which I can understand.
Well, again, how it comes to I'm going to tell you right now, Vass and John obviously don't like each other, and he obviously doesn't like you, so it would be tremendously hard to get both of you inside the group at the same time. So Kravar would have to choose, like, hey, which one wants to be in and which one can we keep in until the other one wants to rejoin. But if you have to flip flop on that idea, where if IRF can join at one time and then UNAR can join at one time, then I don't think either of them should join at all.
To be honest, I even been trying to talk with John to see if UNAR can, break the fucking issues we've been having with IRF. Yeah, it's just hard because I'm not even in contact with Voss anymore because he blocked me. So I haven't been trying as much as I was back in the day, but it's difficult to do that now because now we just created such a bad image on each other that it's, we can't return from it. But I'm trying to fix it. Like, I mean, I haven't been sitting here just boiling in it, but I don't know. I guess it's not really up to me. It's up to John's decision. I talked to John before about it, and I don't think he's really up with the idea. But I'm getting there. Trying to persuade him.
We're slowly moving the rock boulder thing, avalanche long.
Yeah.
But finally, moving on to the next question here. Why do you like to be politically involved in various groups on Roblox? Because obviously you had the political party and Deutsches Heer here, 1940s, INPR, Frankish Realm and whatnot. Is there any reason or?
Well, back in Deutsches Heer, 1940s, that it wasn't really we didn't have a political ideal really. It was obviously German related, but it wasn't really to the extent where it was pretty bad. But it was mainly because we wanted to, have government positions, which helped both sides because we were creating activity for Richter, and we were also, just role playing basically a freaking government would do, with government seats in the Senate, Congress, stuff like that. And then but then once I got into the IPNA wasn't really too politically involved because it's Roblox. We never really had a political system. That was mainly the government. Because back in Austria-Prussia, we didn't have the government, but like when the Holy Roman, I think it was Empire of the German Nation, the last group before the NSN left, we did have a government, which was Doogie's responsibility, and the IPNA didn't really play a role in there. We were just the IPNA was basically recruitment and morale. That was basically it. But we still had a larger following, really. And we were basically a paramilitary, which was, we were not the army, but we were, kind of, what do you call it? Yeah, militia. That's what I meant. So we were never really politically involved on Roblox, although off site, like on communications, because back then we used to use Skype. We were pretty politically involved, and we put political shit in there, obviously. But on Roblox, we really didn't do anything political except reference it there and then, but it wasn't full on political. The only thing that was really political was the government, but the government really never succeeded as we hoped it would be. But
I feel like when you make it armed forces as the main focus of your group, the government is always going to suffer. It's really either or. You can't have both.
Yeah,
at the extent at which you want it to be.
Yeah, when you have an army, especially the IPNA at the time, you would have to have a massive amount of members to really even it out on all three, and the government really wasn't very successful because of that, and so that's why we weren't really as political, but obviously off-site and shit like that, we were very.
Yeah, right. So, do you think politics being involved in Roblox is a positive thing? Like, political parties, ideology, etc.?
If you make political parties, I mean, if it supports obviously a political stance that's not really hatred, basic like hate speech and shit like that, Nazis and National Socialism, fascism, basically anything that's really negatively viewed in today's world. I think it's kind of cool. If you had like a party, let's just say, for instance, a Republican or Democratic Party, something like that, where you played a huge role in the government and you had seats, that's kind of cool. You're role playing, you're having a good time. It's where you take it to the extent, I believe, at like as of now, that's what I believe, that if you bring it to the extent of spreading National Socialism or whatever you want to do nowadays, I think it's just, it's Roblox. I don't think it belongs on Roblox anymore. I think Roblox should be just a group, like a whole game base where you'd be able to spread ideas and unique, ideas and creations that are like that many groups haven't seen for a while. So like back in the day, when Holy Roman Empire of Germination, I mean, that's the weirdest fucking name I've ever heard, but it was different. It was different. And it was that's how it grew interest by many people, because it was different. It wasn't the same as all these German groups trying to repeat, all these other shit, but it was a different point of view that a lot of people were interested in. And that's what I think is great if you put the politics in the right way. I mean, but if you put it to the point where you put politics over, like if you're saying, let's just say, some National Socialist is putting a lot of his politics on this game and converting people like in the past, like we did. Today, I would say that's pretty stupid. You shouldn't do that. And I think it's okay, if it's parties that are accepted in today's point of view, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Just if you're okay, if you don't have all the negative speech, you're fine. You're fine. Thumbs up. Pat on the back.
Yeah.
You can stay.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're okay with, modern political parties, etc., but how do you feel if one of your groups started to become politically driven or motivated without your consent? Would you take actions against it, or would you actually endorse it?
Well, again, what do you mean by which kind of political are you talking?
Like, they actually try and form a party, or they try to get like the political ideology involved into your group.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be National Socialism, exactly.
No, it can be anything.
Oh, I mean, it depends how far they take it to an extent. I mean, if we had like in UNAR, we have a government. So if you have a party, like for instance, there's a group called the Freedom Party. I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's like that. They're making their unique name. They're not really putting that much politics into it. They just name themselves a Freedom Party that have these little interests that's Roblox related. Like.
Hello?
Yeah.
No, you cut out a lot. Sorry.
Oh, I did.
Should we just say like it? Should we just go back to where you said it depends? Then.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I was saying, it depends rather if how far an extent they take it. I mean, like I said, we have a political party in UNAR for the government called the Freedom Party, and they really don't take their politics outside of Roblox. Like their views are like increasing the military, and their disciplines, stuff like that. Stuff that's right. Roblox related, and not where it's like, oh yeah, we need to build a fucking wall. You know what I mean? Like it's not shit like that where it's like it creates controversy. It's just
we're gonna build a wall and we're gonna make IRF pay for it.
Yeah, you're gonna make IRF build that wall.
Build that wall, but in like instead of having like an American like flag in the background, it's just like a German flag that's against the Russian border.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's. Oh yeah, yeah. But so basically, yeah. That's
yeah,
totally.
Yeah. Oh shit. So, anyways, what is your stance on Roblox becoming more kid-friendly orientated. What do you think it means for the future of the World War II genre?
Wow. Kid friendly oriented. Um, I don't even think it's really close to being kid friendly. If you're talking about, if you're saying under 13 years old, I don't think this World War II community is ready for that yet. Because a lot of the shit that's going on, like, the Imperial Japanese, like literally, like there's a picture of them saying we will now make the Chinese our little pets or toys or something like that. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they
yeah,
sent
this is
that
not ready.
picture. They sent my picture. They sent that picture to my Chinese group, and I'm like, what level of fucking stupidity are these people on?
I mean, that group is running pretty good, and it's basically fueled by memes rather than fun.
No, I fucking hate it though. Like, I'm okay with the memes, but it's just you're going into the deep end. I can't stand a conversation with Eternal Anglo. I'm sure he's an okay person, but it's just when I look at your Discord and then I look up in announcements and they said Happy Pearl Harbor Day, I'm like, oh,
Oh God, yeah.
no.
Oh jeez.
9-year-old walks in. Oh man, I love the Japanese. I want to be a soldier.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of them don't really know the orientation, like not the orientation, but the origins of those groups, because they don't know the history behind it yet.
You're too young to know. You're so innocent.
Yeah, I
I
know.
want to be a German. My grandfather was German. He was in the war.
Oh God, yeah. Before you know it, he's running around doing the hail salute at freaking elementary.
Yeah, he like shows a picture of his granddad, and he's actually like secretly like one of the SS members.
Yeah, he just escaped.
Yeah, he's shows an Argentinian flag in the background. This is him when he came home, and it has like an autograph of Hitler.
Oh jeez.
Shit.
Yeah, this genre is not ready for kid friendly. It's not.
I don't think it ever will be ready. Like, there's no way you could introduce a kid into a war zone and be like, "Hey,
Yeah, I know.
we don't. This isn't paintball."
Yeah, this isn't Nerf guns, guys. This is a real fight.
It's Nerfer dude or nothing, dude.
Oh God.
Dude, trust me, I use airsoft. I don't like Nerfer dude.
Airsoft is pretty good.
Somebody should have made an account that was basically airsoft dude, just to see how Nerfer would react to it.
Yeah, I mean,
and then he leads an Axis group.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, it would. Yeah, it would be funny, but unfortunately, he's gone now. So.
I mean, he still lurks around. It's like Lewis, where he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving forever," and then proceeds to come back like eventually. That sort of shtick.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta do stuff in real life." Yeah, guys, I'm gone forever, and then like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm back, guys."
See, the reason why, I mean, if by the time this video is uploaded, the resignation letter is already out. Like, I've tried to quit Roblox multiple times. I'm gonna be honest, but I don't want to be like Nerfer and Lewis, where they constantly say that they'll leave and then they return. Because I'm damn near 18 years old, or almost 19 years old. Yeah. And I don't have time to fucking sit here and play toy soldiers with a bunch of guys trying to dox people on the internet. I don't have time for this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, I also plan on quitting too when I turn 18, since I'll be going to college and probably maybe the National Guard before.
Oh, good luck to you. I mean, I already have people who were in the RCCP who've already joined the military and shit. I'm like, these fuckers are doing something like. I'm pretending to be soldier on the internet, and these fuckers are actually soldiers on the internet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't plan on being here permanently, but I'm trying to be here to at least experience, just to have a good time, really. But it's hard to do that when you got people always getting on the backside and breathing on your neck about stupid shit that's not true and stuff like that. And I want to change that,
I mean, so many people are like, "Oh, I fucking hate this community. I wish it was like the old days." I'm like, then make it like the old. It's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. if you just decide not to dox people and shit and do scummy things. I guarantee you, if John and Bass actually sat down and like had a thoughtful conversation instead of saying, "Oh, you're this" or "Oh, you're that," they could agree that things were better off back then.
And I mean, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either. I mean, they were in close ties when they were in USM. I mean, they were allies at the time, and then everything
I mean,
went to shit.
I've known Bass, John, almost everybody for years now, and they all generally feel the same way towards the community. Like, it's just gotten worse. And like, well, then what are you going to do about it? You guys are the leaders of this community. You have to make the difference. Otherwise, nobody will.
Right. I mean, no one else is going to step up to the plate. That's the reason why nothing has changed yet. So it's basically among those who are already there to actually take the initiative, because no one else is going to be doing it. And clearly no one has, because something would have changed.
I mean, there's been countless times. Like, I thought that the League of Nations, when I had my Chinese group join, like, it would change something. But even then, there's just still so much toxicity in there. And outside of it as well. So I don't... It's a step in the right direction, I would definitely say, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be.
Right, yeah.
But with all of that being said, actually, here comes a very counterproductive question.
Oh, no.
Do you believe that the genre as a whole has improved since you first joined the community?
Man, I mean, when I first joined, I mean, there's been conflict throughout. I mean, it's been worse along the way for me personally, because I only joined 2016, 2017, so that's only 2 years.
You weren't here for the the old days, back in my day, sort of deal.
Oh yeah, well, I heard stories, but not enough to really have any opinion on it. But only have opinions really of what's going on that I've experienced personally. But since the couple of years I've been in the community, I don't really think anything has changed, mainly because it's been conflict there, here and there. I mean, every day I wake up with something new that happened to someone or something.
I'll put it this way. Since you only recently joined the community, there's been a whole stigma that, to an extent, I would say is correct, where 2016 and onwards, it's just gotten downhill from the community. Like, it's just gotten terrible. I remember when 2016 was like, oh, it can't possibly get any worse than this.
Yeah. I mean, I joined.
And here we are.
Oh, yeah. And here we are talking about how it gone to shit. Yeah. It's just not, I don't ever think it's ever going to improve unless the people who are really the main leaders of the community get together and actually, figure shit out. Because, I mean, I see Voss mainly. Voss never really wanted to ally UNAR, mainly because we were with Lewis. But the only reason why we decided to go with Lewis is because he wasn't political anymore, and he was just here for role-playing purposes and to help with aesthetic. And so we were just like, all right. Because I even when I first joined UNAR, I was talking with Voss like, hey, do you ever see a future with UNAR and IRF? And he's like, maybe, but I don't ever see it happening with you guys associated with Lewis. And I don't think Voss understands that Lewis isn't.
Vass just doesn't like Lewis. It's not just because of politics. Vass and Lewis have had a long history together where it's just constant hatred towards one another, like backstabbing, etc. It goes beyond what's happened in 2017 and onwards.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I had no opinion for that, behind, like, before when I recently joined. But that's mainly because from what I've experienced and saw, that I kind of want to get to the point where everything is resolved and everything like that. We can get back on a better start rather than just going in this endless circle of hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it takes a while for that. Like, hatred in this community, to me, it's like, it's going to be strong. It's just going to be never ending, or so we think it is. Like, it takes years for that anger and for that hatred to fade against somebody. Like, before me and Vass started talking again, because we had our own disagreements back in 2014 with our Soviet groups that we were running, it took a couple years for us to put things in the past and just accept that it doesn't matter anymore. It shouldn't have mattered that much. And it's going to take even longer with somebody like Vass and Lewis and John because they've constantly had issues with each other.
Right. Well, let's just hope that the resolution comes sooner than later.
Full circle. Finally, just default.
Yeah.
No default dance. No.
Oh God.
No strings attached anymore.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that day to happen, but it's probably never going to happen until I eventually leave Roblox. So yeah,
I guarantee you, it's not happening before I leave.
Yeah, I mean,
even if I wanted it to, it's not going to happen.
Oh wow, that was weird. Your fucking audio.
That's fine.
Okay,
as long as it picks up on on the recording, it's fine. But anyways, last question: if given the opportunity, what are some things that you want to change to make the Roblox platform as a whole better for everybody?
You know, that's an interesting question because back in the second Frankish realm, I started to actually do something like that. I started the Nations at War, which was a huge. I would try to make it where it was a huge community where we can set aside all the stupid shit we were doing and fighting each other and everything like that. Basically, stuff that wasn't related to Roblox at all. And it was mainly where we can get even IRF. I even contacted Voss, and he was kind of interested in it. He said he would talk with his council, and then I guess he changed mind because he sent me a picture of fucking Lewis and was like, "So you support this fat ass?" And I'm like, oh, "Okay," and then he blocked me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that was out of the blue, but other than that, I even tried to do that with the Nations at War thing, and it didn't turn out because I guess Voss must have told a lot of other people not to even consider it, other groups to consider it, even though I tried to do something similar and try to set aside all the fuse and all that shit we had that was just basically negativity every fucking second, and just get rid of it and just have a nice stable community. But then freaking Lewis decided to meme my SFR by AAing Boss in game, which was kind of funny to look back at just watching it. But like at the same time, I obviously had no command there because he had geo access, so I just let it happen.
It's not like if you try and like get involved in that, he's just only going to do it to you too.
Oh no, he wasn't going to do that to me. If I got involved to stop Lewis from flinging Voss in game. If you see the videos, and that TPing him and just saying shit like that, bad shit to him, he'd probably not care because obviously he has geo access, like I said, and he had access to the group and everything. And I didn't really want to fuck around with it because I was just jump starting this group too. So
yeah, fair enough. I remember when Rika Selva started becoming very active, and I joined in there as RCCP. And if you didn't know, during that time, RCCP and since a nerfer was involved in it, we hated each other. So I joined the game, and nerfer had like administration access, so Thanos and the other guys couldn't really do anything if he tried to harass me. So instead, they tried to do workarounds. Like they'd hide me from the player list and shit, and like make me invisible so I can just walk around.
Oh jeez.
And then he still tried to find me to try and kill me with admin commands.
Oh god.
Fuck.
Yeah, the only really bad encounter I had with Nerfer was when I was in USM 1940s because during the time when I left the NSN, when everything was resolved at home, I joined back Roblox, but obviously there was nothing going on. There's no groups or anything. So I was gonna jumpstart my own Austro-Hungarian realm, and then that's when John and his little friends joined the Discord and was like, "Hey, are you starting Lose 2.0 group?" And I was like, maybe. I mean,
maybe lol.
Yeah, and he was like, and that's kind of when I decided just to give him the group and then join the USM 1940s because I had nowhere to go. No one was in Roblox anymore at the time, and so and then what was funny was I got a message from one of my friends, and he's like, "Hey, Lou says if you do not friend him right now. He's bad shit's gonna happen. I'm like, oh jeez. Like,
Oh my god.
so I friended him, and then
If you don't do this, vague things will occur.
well, he Lewis had my induction form when I was in the NSN, so he did have my private.
Oh, let me guess. That form had like personal information on it or something like that.
Yeah. The only
Figured.
Yeah. The only thing it didn't have there was my address, because I was like, no thanks. But so he was like, he told me that if I don't start a group, which was the second Frank Schwelm under him, he would leak it or give it away or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't really give a shit. It's Roblox. So I made an account. We made accounts. He had Ludwig Karsten. I had KristofGadsden, and then I get a message from John to join me and get. I see. What's funny was I was looking at Discord and I just see all these USM Discords I was in just disappearing. I was like, like they were, and then I just see John say join this game, and they TP'd me in like an interrogation room, and then there was social liberalism or something like that. Liberalism. I think that was his Durfer's old account when he was.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Don't you ever mess with me again. This is your final straw." I was like,
"This is your final warning." And it's like, really, this is a warning, even though I got kicked out of all your games.
Yeah, I know. I was like, all right, sure. And then John messaged. Then a couple days later, I came back on, and all the Discords were gone. And John messaged me. He's like, "Nice account, Mr. Karsten." I'm like, "Oh yay!"
They got you.
Yeah, they found me, and I was like, "All right, cool, you got it. Nice job." And
you got me.
The thing is, when Sigismund, the guy that used to be in NSN, joined, I think it was Nerfer. I think they gave, because Sigismund used to be Lewis's second in command. They gave them some induction forms from the NSN. And I think mine was included among that list. And what happened was, which was kind of surprising, because even with all these, even though I was with these German groups, they never leaked, they never, did any stupid shit like posted my induction form publicly or anything like that. Didn't do anything that was like I was expecting them to do. I was like, shit, they have my induction form. They could leak it, They never did. And I was like, huh. So,
would you look at that?
Yeah, I know. Would you look at that? I was
like,
it's pretty crazy.
Despite all this, I mean, you still at least tried to contribute something back to the community with your own organization, but I guess that wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I tried, but then Voss was interested, then backed out last minute, and I was like, oh, all right. And then it just became basically the Confederation, like the UNAR's Confederation, where it was just alliances, and that's about it. And so I was like, at least I tried. I mean, like, I'll give the credit for trying.
I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But with all this being said, it has been a pleasure to have you on. It is currently, by this rate, oh, damn, we're over an hour in. Shit. All right.
Oh, wow.
Well,
all right.
So it's been a pleasure talking to you, Kristof.
Thank you for having me.
This has been the Roblox World War II Community Podcast, and we'll be signing off. By all means, join us on the server for any recommendations of who you think wants to come on. Bye.